Hey everyone, it's Monday, September 15th, 2025, and today we're doing something a little different. A focused, in-depth episode on one major immigration story that could reshape how people experience the system day to day. We're going to unpack a decision that moves USCIS closer to ICE in practice, and what that could mean for both applicants and the communities they live in. This isn't a quick headline. It's a shift with real consequences for people who come here seeking benefits, work, or refuge, and for the people who administer those programs. So let's walk through what happened, why it happened, and what comes next, in plain language you can use in everyday conversations and decisions. So what exactly changed? A final rule published in the Federal Register on September 5th, 2025, gives U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services new law enforcement powers and authorizes a dedicated unit of USCIS officers to carry out enforcement tasks that have long been handled by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The rule takes effect on October 6, 2025, and it follows a memorandum of agreement from July 23rd that outlines how USCIS and ICE will work together and who supervises what. In practical terms, trained USCIS officers may begin issuing detainers, making arrests, and executing removal orders in certain situations. That's a major shift from the traditional split where USCIS handled applying for benefits like green cards, citizenship, asylum, or work permits, while ICE handled arrests, detention, and deportation. The line between service and enforcement is now thinner, and that change is what's prompting both cautious interest and concern from advocates and affected communities. Why does this matter now? There's a push inside DHS to align enforcement tools across agencies, and this is the first time federal benefits officers will formally carry out enforcement actions. News outlets have raised questions about how this blurring of roles will play out in real life. Will people hesitate to come in for interviews or benefits if they fear detention or arrest could follow a routine appointment? Advocates point to the potential chilling effect, especially for people who already navigate complex immigration pathways. At the same time, DHS officials argue that closer coordination helps close operational gaps. If officers encounter possible violations during benefit reviews or fraud checks, they'd be able to act more swiftly to protect safety and integrity. Looking back, this isn't happening in a vacuum. There are precedents for sharing duties, such as the 287G program that allows state and local police to perform limited immigration tasks under ICE supervision. But this is a different scale and a different kind of authority, because it involves federal benefit adjudication officers taking on enforcement tasks. The Tampa Bay Times has noted rising concern about blurring the lines between a service agency and an enforcement arm, and that concern echoes in communities that worry about trust and fear in routine processes. The immediate questions are practical. Which specific situations trigger detainers or arrests? What oversight exists to prevent misuse? How are victims, witnesses, and applicants protected during benefit interviews? And what does this mean for due process, privacy, and appeals when a person's immigration case might intersect with a benefit decision? Followers of immigration policy will want to watch the October 6th effective date closely, as the number of cases where USCIS officers act in enforcement roles could ramp up quickly. The broader significance is that this policy marks a once unthinkable shift in the balance between service and immigration enforcement at the federal level. It has immediate implications for how people prepare for interviews, how legal representatives advise clients, and how communities engage with government agencies that handle both benefits and potential removal actions. As this unfolds, the big question remains: how will oversight and transparency keep this new hybrid approach fair, predictable, and safe for everyday people who rely on USCIS for essential services? So that's the story in a nutshell, with all its complexities and caveats. It's a developing topic that touches on trust in institutions, the practical realities of applying for immigration benefits, and the evolving architecture of U.S. immigration enforcement. If you're tracking policy shifts that could change how people access documents, work permits, or protection, this episode is for you. We'll keep watching every new development and bring you updates as they come. For now, it's important to understand what changed, why it happened, and what it could mean for the people at the heart of the system. Until next time, stay informed and stay connected with VisaVerge for ongoing coverage and context about immigration policy and its real-world impact. Thank you for listening. For more analysis and updates, visit VisaVerge.